The tile was unusually cold this morning. I clicked the dial on the thermostat to bring some heat into the kitchen. I walked down the hallway, being careful not to wake my husband. I flicked the switch in the bathroom and get ready to hop in the shower. As the water temperature is warming, I traced the blue and purple circles around my eyes. I think I had almost forgotten about last night. As I stepped toward the shower, my hips cracked as they settled back into place. Last night was my wedding night, and it didn't quite go how I expected. As a little girl, I always knew that I was different from my family. While I didn't have a different skin color, my Italian features seemed to stick out against the Irish features of my mom and two siblings. My mom was a single mom and got divorced quickly after I was born. My sister and brother went on visits with my mom's ex while I stayed at home. Seriously confused about why I didn't get to go with them. When I was about 10 years old, I found out that I had a different biological father. Like I said, I looked like a rose in a field of sunflowers. I hated my mom. I really did. She refused to tell me anything about my father and would backhand me any time I tried to ask. My resentment grew for her as I got older. By the time I graduated high school, she was still unwilling to talk about it. I entered college, angry at the world. I felt lost, and like a part of me was unfinished. I became an English major because of my love for writing. That's when I met Jason. I'll never forget our first. "Hey, how do you feel about the Oxford comma?" Jason asked way too early in an 8 a.m. class. "I feel like it has a purpose. I can get confused reading something if there is an Oxford comma." I didn't finish my statement because he turned and started talking to another student. Even though we had that weird interaction, we continued to get to know each other throughout the semester. I wasn't the type of girl to date much in high school. I was pretty closed off to the social scene and put on the "I don't have time for this" attitude. Jason completely enthralled me. We got close very quickly and dated throughout college. In our junior year, over the summer, we both went home with each other to meet our families. Jason's mom was a cute, small woman that loved to hug. I've never been one for hugging, so that's taken some getting used to. We all talked to his dad over the phone because he was away on deployment. Jason's dad, Craig, was a chaplain in the National Guard. Jason said that his dad was gone often and that he wasn't around a lot for his childhood. A couple of weeks after that, we went to visit my mom. Jason was diagnosed with ADHD our freshman year of college. He was still trying to figure out the diagnosis and how to live with it. He was not on medication at the time and had thoughts burst out of his mouth before they were filtered. "So where's your dad, Sam?" he asked. My eyes got wide. After all this time, I had not told him about the unknown of my biological father. My mom placed her fork slowly beside her plate. "He's dead," she replied coldly. I shot him a glance and shook my head no, to signal him to abort going down this rabbit hole. We survived the rest of the dinner and left without mentioning it again. Jason continued to bring up the topic of my father. He could not wrap his head around the fact that I didn't know anything. With his knowledge of computers, he offered multiple times to try to find him. I had no starting point, though. My mom's ex-husband was on my birth certificate, and a DNA test had been done when they got divorced, proving I wasn't his child. Without my mom's cooperation, it seemed impossible to find out any information. My sister mentioned one day that she had been talking with her dad more. She said that he had information about my father and that if I wanted it, he would give it to me. I felt guilty thinking I would betray my mom by talking with him. The man had serious mental health issues. I was concerned that the information he would give me would be totally wrong. Unfortunately, I was right. My mom's ex, Tim, told me that my father raped my mom. He said that it started out as an affair, but moved to him being more and more violent. Apparently, this was not my mom's first affair, and that's what ultimately ended their marriage. I was discouraged after our conversation because I felt even farther from knowing the truth. The only thing he did give me was a photo of my biological father. He gave me the wrong name that went with that photo. Due to Tim giving me the wrong name for the man in the photo, I contacted someone that was not my biological father. I was frustrated, to say the least. All of that quickly left my mind when Jason proposed to me the weekend after that. I was over the moon excited. 6 months later was our wedding day. I planned and worried about that day for too long. Everything was wonderful, though. I had a beautiful dress in the venue of my dreams. Jason was incredibly sweet and good to me the whole day. I was thankful for that. As stupid as it sounds, I tucked my biological father's photo into the pocket of my dress. My brother walked me down the aisle. I was thankful for him being there, but I still felt that huge hole inside. Jason and I went back to our house after the wedding last night. He and I had been intimate before, but I had requested we take a break for a couple of months before the wedding. As soon as we walked through the door last night, he was ready to get started. I gave in to the moment, and we moved to the bedroom. He picked me up and placed me in the middle of the bed. When he got on top of me, it all happened so quickly. He just started punching and slapping me. I had never seen Jason act like this before. I kept begging him to stop. I never thought my wedding night would end with me writhing in pain. I'm not sure how long I laid awake staring at the ceiling, but eventually I fell asleep. While Jason is still asleep, I decide that I'm going to unpack some more boxes that his mom sent over. As I unpacked his things, I wondered if Jason was upset because his dad didn't come to the wedding. He couldn't help it, though. He was deployed. I opened the last box, and Jason's family photo was on top. He and his sister were little. His mom and dad sat close behind them. I looked at the photo, and I realized his dad looked familiar. I went and grabbed the photo out of my dress pocket. It was the same man. Today I found out that I was a child of rape, and that Tim was telling the truth. I also found out that I married and was raped by my half-brother last night. If only my mom had told me the truth.